why you can't say what you really need, and how to finally speak up. If you've ever stayed silent just to keep the peace, if you've ever said yes when everything inside of you was screaming no, if you've ever felt guilty for simply having needs, you've just taught yourself, probably at some point, that your needs make you a burden. Over the next 11 minutes or so, I'm going to show you exactly how to unlearn that lie and start communicating your needs with clarity, confidence, and zero guilt. But the truth is, the right people will never punish you for being honest. They'll thank you for it. Your needs don't make you a burden. Here's what we're covering. First, the real reason you feel guilty for having needs. It's most likely not what you think. And then the one mindset shift that instantly removes the fear of speaking up. And finally, the exact framework for you to communicate your needs without guilt, blame, or anxiety. But let me start by asking you something. How many times this week have you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't? How many times have you bitten your tongue, swallowed your truth, or changed your answer because you're afraid of how someone would react? If that's you, then this message is for you. Because what I'm about to tell you might not be easy to hear at first, but then it might set you free. So here's what's really happening. The guilt trap. Most people think they struggle to communicate their needs because they lack confidence. But that's not it. You struggle because you've trained yourself at some point to believe that your needs are inconvenient. Think about your childhood. What happened when you expressed what you needed? Maybe you were told, "Stop being so dramatic. Don't be so demanding. Think about others for once." So your nervous system, your body learns that speaking my needs equals rejection or conflict or being too much. And as an adult, that program most likely is still running. And as you know, the body tells the story of your life. And that's why you say yes when you want to say no. You over-explain yourself when you set boundaries. You feel physically anxious before asking for what you need. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. Your body's literally bracing for punishment. Because once upon a time, expressing yourself wasn't safe, perhaps. But here's what gets even more insidious. Unspoken needs don't disappear. They turn into resentment. You stay silent to keep the peace, but inside, you're keeping score. You're waiting for people to just know what you need without you having to say it. And when they don't, you feel hurt, unseen, and even more guilty for feeling that way. And as Brené Brown says, clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Every time you don't speak your truth, you're not protecting the relationship, you're slowly poisoning it, and you're abandoning yourself in the process. Let's talk about the truths about your needs. The truths that maybe no one tells you. Having needs doesn't make you needy, it makes you human. Unless you actually are needy, right? You have emotional needs, you have physical needs, you have spiritual needs, you have energetic needs, and acknowledging them isn't weakness. It's wisdom, it's awareness. But somewhere along the way, you've learned, or maybe you've taught yourself, that good people don't have needs. Good people are selfless. Good people sacrifice. Good people keep others comfortable. And that is a lie that will destroy you from the inside out. Paulo Coelho said it perfectly. When you say yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. Because every time you deny your needs to avoid disappointing someone else, you're teaching your body, your nervous system, I'm not worth prioritizing. And over time, that becomes your identity. You become the person who's always there for everyone else, but never for yourself. The person who gives and gives and gives until you're empty. The person who wonders why you feel so unseen when you're the one hiding. So listen up. You're not responsible for other people's comfort. You're responsible for your own truth. You can't control how someone reacts to your honesty, but you can control whether you show up authentically or disappear to keep the peace. And disappearing, that's not love. That's self-abandonment. When you say yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself, as Paulo Coelho said. And before I give you the 3-step framework, let me tell you about something. If you're done with swallowing your truth, if you need to stop feeling guilty about simply existing, if you want to finally learn how to communicate with confidence instead of fear, I'm hosting a free challenge coming up soon called the Elevate Inner Work Challenge. And this is where we go beyond YouTube videos and actually rewire the patterns. We identify where you learn to silence yourself. We release the guilt and shame about having needs. We practice real conversations in real time, so you leave with tools, not just theory. The link will be somewhere down below this video. Now let me jump into the framework, the 3 stages. First one is to get clear before you speak. Before you have any difficult conversations, you need to get clear on one thing. What do I actually need here? So this question I've asked a lot. What do I want? What do I need? Get clear on that first. Not what you think you should need, not what's reasonable. What do you actually need? Because if it's not clear within, your words won't have power without, right? Like outside of you. Here's how to get clear. This is where our meditation and yoga practice helps so much. But a simple thing you can do is close your eyes, get into your body, or place your hand on your heart if that helps. Take a breath, get embodied, get into the present moment, and ask the questions of what am I trying to honor or protect right here? And what do I actually need? The answers might be, I need more alone time, I need to feel heard, I need this dynamic to change. Whatever comes up, don't judge it, start to just acknowledge it. As Prentice Hemphill beautifully said, boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. You're not choosing between yourself and others. You're finding the distance where both can exist. Example, instead of a vague frustration, you say, I need more quiet time at home, not because I don't love being together, but because I need that space to recharge. So you see the difference, how it's clear, it's honest, and there's no blame. Boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Use I language, not blame. Here's the thing. Blame closes hearts and honesty opens them. The second you say, you have always, or you never, the other person's defenses go up. And now it's a fight. But when you speak from I feel, or I need, you're not attacking, you're revealing, you're being vulnerable. Here's a shift. Instead of, you never listen to me, you could try, I feel unheard when I'm interrupted. What would help me is if we could take turns sharing or speaking. Instead of saying, you don't care about my feelings, you'd say something like, I feel disconnected when we don't talk about what's bothering us. I need us to create space for that. See what happens? You're inviting understanding instead of defensiveness. And here's a little mantra that might help. Say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. You can be honest without being harsh. You can have boundaries without being cruel. And as Mel Robbins says, you can't set boundaries and take care of other people's feelings at the same time. So stop trying. Speak your truth with love and trust that the right people will meet you there. Third stage is release the outcome, to let go. Perhaps for some people this is the hardest, but the most freeing. You can express yourself with love, with clarity, but you cannot control how someone receives it. As it says in the Bhagavad Gita, your authority is in your actions, not the results. So that's not rejection, that's just reality. As Don Miguel wrote in the 4 Agreements, nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. So if someone reacts defensively to your honesty, that's their stuff most likely, not yours. If someone punishes you for having needs, that's information about them, not proof that you're too much most likely. Communicating your needs is about integrity, not approval. And here's your new mantra. My truth is safe to be seen, and communicating from that place. You can say it with love, you can say it clearly, and then let go of the results. But here's what you need to know. The only person who gets upset when you set boundaries are the ones who have benefited from you having none. So you might be thinking, well, this all sounds great. What if I physically freeze up when I try to speak? And that's your nervous system still running the old pattern. Speaking equals danger. So before having difficult conversations, you might need to reset your nervous system. And rather than, little hacks, this is why consistent meditation and yoga practice is such an integral part of our framework, of our body of work. So you don't have to try and do little kind of gimmicky things. you're constantly shifting what people call trauma or traumatic past and the impressions of that out of your body and your nervous system. But if you need something really quickly, right before you have a conversation, breathing is always powerful. So you could take a few breaths, 3 deep breaths or 10 deep breaths. I used to do that. If it helps you can place your hand on your heart, you can close your eyes, or just get present into your body and start to speak to yourself that it's safe, that my truth is safe, and I'm safe now. That's the message. Feel the energy of that, the words, the energy of those words in your body and in your nervous system. And your body needs to hear what your mind already knows, perhaps. All the stuff that we're talking about. You're not that child anymore. You're an adult with agency. And speaking your truth won't kill you, even though it might feel like that. The truth will set you free, but first, it might piss you off. And that's okay. Anger is just clarity demanding to be heard. So breathe, ground yourself, and speak. The truth will set you free, but first, it might piss you off. So imagine this. You wake up tomorrow or someday soon, and that guilt is gone or mostly gone. And it comes from small steps, like consistent practice of these tools that I'm talking about. Someone asks you something and you say no without over-explaining, without guilt, without fear. You have difficult conversations and you don't spiral afterwards wondering if you said the wrong thing. You express your needs clearly, kindly, and the right people actually thank you for it. And that's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. You stop performing and start being real. You stop shrinking and start taking up your space. You stop apologizing for your needs and start honoring them. Because here's what nobody tells you most likely. Your needs are valid. Your feelings are valid. Your truth is valid, just like every one of us. Not that you're perfect. Not when you've earned it. Right now, just as you are. Because that is the true nature of who we are and how we are. We are born enough. We are born loved completely, right? Perfect in our imperfections. And when you finally believe that, everything changes. You stop attracting people who need you to be silent, and you start attracting people who love you whole, just the way you are. Your voice is your power. Use it with love, not fear. And here's my challenge for you. For the next 48 hours, or you can do it for a week if you want, communicate one thing you need you've been suppressing. Doesn't have to be big. It can be something small. I need an hour to myself today. I need us to talk about what happened. I need you to respect this boundary. Just one. Say it clearly. Say it with love. Don't apologize for it. And then notice what happens. Not just in the conversation, but in your body. Notice how it feels to finally speak your truth instead of swallow it. Because that's the beginning of freedom. Your freedom. You don't have to shrink to be loved. The right people will meet you where you're real, not where you're silent. And the ones who can't, maybe they're never your people to begin with anyway. So stop swallowing your truth. Stop apologizing for your existence. Stop waiting for permission to take up your space. Speak. You deserve to be heard. You're most likely not too much. You've just been in a space or spaces that are too small.